Welcome, my friends. Well, there is stunning news coming from Disney over this past weekend. Disney's board suddenly sought out former CEO Bob Iger on Friday about returning as CEO. Apparently, other senior Disney management people were concerned about CEO Bob Chapek's management of the company. This includes CFO Christine McCarthy. Chapek caught completely off guard by the news. In the shake-up, Disney's head of media and entertainment Kareem Daniel is also out. Daniel was widely considered to be the right hand to now departed CEO Bob Chapek. Daniel's firing was announced in a memo to employees today. New and former CEO Iger also announced a new structure that puts more decision-making back in the hands of our creative teams and rationalizes costs. Chapek was CEO at Disney for almost 3 years. And the events of this past weekend are the rapid reversal of Chapek's decisions during his tenure as CEO. So, what does this mean for the world of entertainment, especially the streaming business? What does it mean for the economy? And, what does it mean for the future of the United States? But, before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Disney chose to rehire Bob Iger as chief executive, after receiving internal complaints from senior leadership that Bob Chapek was not fit for the job, according to people familiar with the matter. The executive change came together quickly, blindsiding Chapek and his closest allies. Disney's board reached out to Iger on Friday. The Disney board did not seriously consider any other candidates, according to sources. The board was basically convinced that Disney's disastrous Q3 earnings report was related to complaints about Chapek's leadership. Disney CFO Christine McCarthy was one of the executives who expressed a lack of confidence in Chapek. McCarthy has been Disney's CFO since 2015 and was Iger's CFO before Iger retired as CEO in 2020. McCarthy has an established relationship with the board given her longevity in the position, said people close to the matter. Disney did not provide a spokesperson to comment on the changes. Chapek also did not respond with any comments. Iger has agreed to be the Disney CEO until the end of 2024. His base salary will be $1 million. He also gets an annual bonus target of $1 million. And a long-term incentive award targeted at $25 million. Chapek had a base salary of $2.5 million. And he had an annual target compensation of $20 million. Oddly enough, Chapek's contract was just renewed this year and increased from $15 million. Sources are saying that Chapek's severance package is about $20 million. Chapek had come under heavy criticism for his management of Disney over the past few years. Chapek was told on Sunday night that the board had replaced him with Iger. As you might imagine, Chapek and close associates were caught off guard by the news. Chapek's right-hand man, Kareem Daniel, is also out. Daniel was head of Disney Media and Entertainment. The Disney Media and Entertainment division was created in Chapek's reorganization of the company. Iger has never been very enthusiastic about the reorganization. Truth be told, the reorganization has caused internal consternation for a couple of years now. Iger tells sources that he has been consistently hearing complaints from his former colleagues this year. Chapek's leadership style and his decision to pull budgetary power away from Disney's creative executives, according to people familiar with the matter. Chapek's plan to move 2,000 Disney employees from California to Florida was a huge bone of contention. Employees felt that the forced move demonstrated a level of callousness toward employees' lives. This was especially antithetical to Disney's family-friendly culture. There were some internal CEO candidates identified who might be able to take the job sometime in the future. But the board did not want to put someone new in that position right now, considering all the various pressures on the company. Disney reported quarterly earnings earlier this month, which was a disaster. The Q3 report was disappointing on profit and a number of key revenue segments. Management also warned that its strong streaming growth would likely taper off in the future. And then, the bombshell, Chapek told executives that Disney would cut costs. There would be hiring freezes, layoffs and other cost-cutting measures. And that move was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. Shares of Disney rose following the news of Chapek's replacement. Disney is instituting a new structure that puts more decision-making back in the hands of our creative teams and rationalizes costs, Iger said in a memo to employees. This will necessitate a reorganization of Disney media and entertainment distribution, the memo continued. As a result, Kareem Daniel will be leaving the company, Iger also said in the memo. Chapek was the one who reorganized the company to establish the Disney Media and Entertainment Division and put Daniel in charge. That new division consolidated budgetary power for exclusively under Daniel. Our goal is to have the new structure in place in the coming months, the memo from Iger continued. Without question, elements of DMED will remain, but I fundamentally believe that storytelling is what fuels this company, and it belongs at the center of how we organize our businesses, Iger said. This is a moment of great change and opportunity for our company as we begin our second century, Iger continued. Iger also noted. If you recall, last week, CEO Bob Chapek told employees of plans to conduct a targeted hiring freeze. And, of course, layoffs. We are limiting headcount additions through a targeted hiring freeze, CEO Bob Chapek said in a memo to division leads. Hiring for the small subset of the most critical, business-driving positions will continue, but all other roles are on hold, the memo from Chapek continued. Disney had about 190,000 employees at the end of Q3. Just to put that in perspective, Google has 174,000 employees. Meta has 87,000 employees, prior to the planned layoff of 11,000 people. And Twitter had 7,500 employees before Elon Musk announced a 50% layoff. Business travel should be limited to essential trips only, Chapek also said in the memo. Meetings should be conducted virtually as much as possible, he also wrote in the memo. Like many companies, Disney reported disappointing Q3 earnings. And who did they blame? You guessed it, the usual whipping boy, weakening macroeconomic conditions. I think that Wall Street analysts are getting tired of hearing that. Shares of Disney fell sharply after the disappointing Q3 earnings call. In fact, the share price reached a new 52-week low, before rebounding a little bit later in the week. Disney's streaming service Disney Plus lost $1.47 billion in Q3. But we should note that Disney Plus has accumulated 100 million subscribers in just 3 years since its inception. By way of comparison, Netflix took 20 years to build a subscriber base of 220 million. But the streaming business is overcrowded and fragmented. Disney lost twice as much on Disney Plus in Q3 versus the prior quarter. McCarthy said losses at Disney Plus will improve in 2023. According to Chapek, streaming will become cash flow profitable by the end of 2024. As you probably already heard, other large media and entertainment companies have made job cuts this year. Warner Brothers, Discovery, Netflix, HBO Max. I don't know about you, but I really wonder about this announcement. It seems that CEOs are getting the message from Wall Street analysts that the more layoffs, the more we will recommend your stock. And, I think that pretty much all big corporates have some amount of fake jobs. There is always fat and waste in corporate organizations. But this one makes me a little suspicious. Disney has traditionally been a very well-managed company. And, despite its losses, Disney Plus has shown excellent growth. If it truly becomes profitable in 2024, that will be a good outcome. I often wonder when CEOs say that business travel should be cut to only essential trips. Why haven't they been approving only essential trips all along? It makes me feel that, outside of this newly created period of austerity, wasteful business trips are okay. And it somewhat makes me lose faith in how corporate America is managed. On the other hand, I would say that Disney has a lot of moving parts. Theme parks are just getting back on their feet after the pandemic. But have you checked entry prices to Disney theme parks lately? They are sky high. And I really wonder whether they are pricing out average American families. Disney does need to rationalize the financial picture and bring its earnings in line with stock valuation. But given the fragmentation of the streaming industry, consolidation must take place. So, Disney needs to decide whether it wants to be a buyer or a seller in that space. Given Disney's vast library of titles and ownership of ESPN, I would say that it needs to be a buyer. And, Warner Brothers Discovery needs to find a buyer. I would say that Disney needs to get its share price and earnings up so that it can be something of a consolidator in the streaming space. Hopefully for Disney, this newly discovered financial discipline will help to get them where they need to be. But, what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.